morning, students. Today I am going to revise the topic environment pollution. First of all, we have to know about the environment. Our environment is a gift of God to us. Probably we have become so much prosperous that we hardly feel the importance of gift. We are growing multi-factored with technology and engineering, but at the cost of the greenery, the blue of water, and the air around us. We have already made an environmental legislation for clean air, water, and land, but people who really should be educated, convinced, and carried along are at most unaware of it. Now, next meaning is the pollution. Pollution is increased in the concentration of chemical substances or energy into the natural environment beyond a certain limit, which cause instability, disorder, and harm or discomfort of the ecosystem, or in other words, the contamination of air, water, and soil by substances that are harmful of the living organisms. Environment pollution is happening in many parts of the world, especially in the form of air, land, and water pollution. Now, let's start people, environment, and pollution. The past, present, and potential global threat of environment pollution and degradation is one of the main factors that has effect on the formation of society's environment. Environmental pollution and degradation can be caused by the chemical substances, physical factors, or the development of undesirable living organisms. Now, pollutant is any substances released into the environment as a result of human activity or natural process that has an adverse impact on living organisms. Environmental degradation means that the environment become unusable for its design purpose or the development of living organisms and their communities in the environment is disturbed. Now, what are the factors which can influence the living organisms and life itself? There are a number of factors. The factors are divided into two: natural factor and anthropogenic factor. These are the factors. Next is different substances or factors have different effect on the living organisms. Any chemical or biological or physical factor is called toxic if it caused an adverse biological reaction. Chemicals, pollutants for example pesticides that we are using in agriculture. Physical factors, rise or fall in temperature, radiation, and biological factor, development of undesirable living forms. Environmental degradation. In case of environmental degradation, there is a reason: creation of unfavorable condition for living organisms and limits for development of the organism and their communities. Environmental degradation as a soil erosion due to overgrazing. You can see in this picture. Now, dangerous chemical substances. Pollution of the environment by chemical substances can be classified depending on the properties and structure of these substances. Environmental contamination with metals or their compounds, these are here, and toxic trace elements can be marked or first. There are a number of kinds of dangerous substances you can see. Now, next is toxic substances. Toxic substances are naturally occurring or some are human made. Naturally occurring like plants toxin, poisons, and human made produced by synthesis or as byproducts in the process of production or other substances. All toxic substances are hazards, but not all hazard substances are toxic. Now, pollutants. Pollutants are metals and their compounds. Toxic microelements are also pollutant. Organic pollutants like pesticides, industrial byproducts, and chemically enter compounds in a state of fine particles can be also contaminant of the environment. Dust in the air and suspension in water. Now, persistent organic pollutants. The environmental pollution threat increase if the organic substances that have been released into the environment are persistent. Organic pollutants are known as POP. If they remain there for a long period of time, environmental pollution with POPs. POPs means persistent organic pollutants. By destruction of the product and used in household, by use of pesticides and other plants protection chemicals, by industrial chemical production. There are number of POPs like DDT, dioxins, polychloride and other. Now, chemical compounds in the environment. All kinds of chemical compounds are increasingly released into the environment. Approximately 10 million known chemical substances, and a large part of them do not exist in the natural environment. Approximately 1,20,000 industrial produced chemical compounds widely used and 10,000 substances produced in the amount of existing 500 kg per year. The number of types of industrial produced substances is increasing from approximately 1 to 3,000 new one every year. Now, these are the registration, evaluation, authorization and restriction of chemical use. And chemistry is the science of chemical elements and compound of chemicals that are using in industries for making a product. Now, next is the quality of environment. Environmental degradation factor. There are two type of factor: physical factor and biological factor. Physical factor like electromagnetic radiations, noise pollution and thermal pollution, these are the physical factor. And biological factor are infectious agents, parasites, living organisms whose metabolism and decay products are harmful to humans and other living organisms like plants and animals. Now, next is the air pollution. There are number of air pollutions. We can classify the pollution into air pollution, water pollution, land pollution, thermal pollution, radioactive pollution, noise pollution, light pollution and soil pollution. Now, what is the air pollution? Air is one of essential factor making the life of earth is possible. Depending upon the body constitution, a human being consumes 6 to 13 cube meter of air daily, or even more in case of heavy physical loads. Consequently, trace amount of harmful substances in the air may have an adverse effect on human health. Addition of the harmful gases, liquids and solids into the environment that has damage effect on living things of an environment is called air pollution. It can be through the natural gases or anthropogenic sources. The natural sources are volcanic eruptions, forest fire, pollen grains, human activities such as disposal and industrial and household waste. These are the reason of air pollution. Pollutants spread rapidly to the far distance in the atmosphere. Therefore, the problem of atmospheric pollution should be dealt with on a global scale. International cooperation is vital in this regard. Air cleanliness is developing premises and working environment is special air pollution problems, because today people become increasingly exposed to hazards and toxic substances at home or work or industries. Sources of anthropogenic pollution of air. Industrial pollution mostly occur with industrially development region of North America, Europe and Asia. The main source of anthropogenic pollution that also affect the quality of air. Like agriculture, we are using a number of pesticides in the agriculture, and energy production, heating, industrial production, and transport is a main cause of air pollution. The main air pollutants are sulfur compounds, nitrogen compounds, carbon compounds, halogenate organic substances, metals and their compound, aerosols, and dust, radioactive elements. Both industrial process and heating contribution to air pollution. To household waste pollutes air significantly. Indoor air pollution. Air pollution in the human living environment, living rooms and workplace are also affect the human health considerably. Main source of indoor air pollution are kitchens, stove, furniture, painted surface, domestic animals, and polymer. Room ventilations also affect the air pollution level. Ventilation should be balanced with the need of maintain optimum temperature in developing premises. Typically, pollutants in living environment. These are the pollutants in living environments. Now, what are the cause of air pollution? Cause of air pollution: the Earth is only planet presently known the sport life. We are searching a possibility of life at Mars, but life expectancy is very low. The atmosphere of Earth serve as a key factor in sustaining the life. Main cause of air pollution are the gases which are generated through the above mentioned source, natural and anthropogenic source. These gases are carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, sulfur, chlorofluorocarbons, and etc. Outdoor and indoor air pollution cause respiratory and other diseases which can be fatal. These pollutants can be primary or secondary. Primary pollutants are pollutants that enter the air directly from the source, like carbon monoxide, oxides, or sulfur, etc. Or secondary pollutants are air pollutant produced by the reaction of primary pollutants with some other pollutants, like chlorine from CFS, chlorofluorocarbons. These are the main of air pollutant. Thanks.